Thank you very much, Bill. Now move on to the next item of the agenda, which is citizen queries. If there's any resident who has a questions, comment, concerns. Here none. It looks like I skipped a minute. Okay. We have the minutes of January 2024. I think it was January 18. That was sent with the agenda. I'll need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
The motion has been seconded. Any discussion? Here none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. We do have today the chair of the Accessibility Commission who is here with some updates. You can just go to the mic and introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christy Showman-Fair, and I'm the chair of the Danvers Accessibility Commission. And I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for letting me be on the agenda. The Accessibility Commission, which is formerly known as the Danvers Disability Commission, was first started in the 1990s. And then had a hiatus for over 5 years. So we reconvened last year, and we have a commission of 7 people. We have 5 voting members and 2 alternates. And we've been meeting monthly as we kind of get our footing in town, figure out what we can do to support everybody. But I wanted to share our commission goals, and then also some events that are coming up that we are doing that are in line with our goals. So our mission is that we are designed to offer education, foster inclusion, and raise awareness about equitable access to resources in Danvers. Accessibility considers all forms of access beyond physical and mental ability, from logistical access of ramps and parking spots to other forms of identity-based access, such as obstacles in transgender healthcare and linguistic barriers. This commission aspires to foster dignity and self-determination in its pursuit of access and accommodations. And then our 3 main goals are to elevate the experiences of those with different abilities and access needs, advocate for continued implementation of the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and to advise on issues related to access needs of the Danvers community. So in addition to introducing our commission, I also just wanted to offer up our assistance. We are not really a programmatic body, rather we are to advise and to support. And so when you are having planning for events and you want some guidance or some ideas on how to make the event more accessible, you can feel free to come to us. If you have questions about accessibility issues as they relate to the HRIC, we would be happy to advise. And with that, we are going to be sending members of our commission to sit in on your meetings and listen in from time to time and report back to our commission, just so that we know what you're doing so that we can continue to support the work that you do. So, any questions?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Yes, Paul.
That's a great question. Yeah, so we are appointed by the town manager, and because we all started last year, the first round we had some members who have a 3-year term, some with a 2 and some with a 1, and so we're just coming up to our first reappointment season, and our vice chair and I are on a 3-year term, and again, the rest throughout that. And we meet on the 4th Thursday of the month, generally speaking in here. Not always in the spring because, election season. But so we also have virtual meetings. And all of our meetings are hybrid so that they are most accessible to the residents of the town. Yes.
Thank you. Bill, questions? Dr. Charlie? David, Donna? Okay. Yes, Karen.
So, hi. Welcome. Thank you for the offer supporting our programming. It often feels like we finish hosting an event and the next one's right around the corner. So we, all the support and thinking through, particularly on accessibility, is most welcome. My question is, how can we support the work that you're doing? Do you have any kind of you're not doing events, but are
No,
you doing
thank you
some
so much for
info
that because I
sessions?
didn't come up with actual notes. I have our flyer, but
Yeah.
I didn't. So thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me. So our first kind of step out into the world of Danvers is we are hosting public forums coming up this spring. We are going to have one on the disability experience in the schools, which is April 25th. It's our regular meeting night. We'll have a very, very brief meeting and then move into the forum. Then the second one is May 23rd, and that is on disability in the community, so out and about in the community. Both of them are going to have a panel of people who have those experiences. We're going to have some guiding questions and community agreements. They'll share their experience, and then we'll open it up to members of the community who are in attendance. We also hope that town employees and elected officials and other committee members join us to listen in and learn about the disability experience in Danvers. It'll be an opportunity, hopefully, to hear some different perspectives that might not always show up and have their voices heard. Thank you.
Are you advertising those events on Facebook, or
We
where
are,
do
yes.
people get information?
Yes, so they are on the town social media networks, and then also on the town calendar. Those both will be in person with a hybrid component. The May event will be here in the Toomey Room. The April one is TBA. We are hoping to be in a school, so.
And when?
April 25th,
In May?
May 23rd.
And also, you may want to also send that to the superintendent.
Yes, we will.
You can
We've
send that in the, I
Yes,
think, weekly
yes,
letter.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
He
very
actually
good.
recently sent one. We had to change up some dates due to some logistics things because voting happens. So we had to change up our meetings, but we will get the new one to him soon. We actually, the Vice Chair J.D. Martz and I met with the superintendent a couple weeks ago and had a really great meeting with him.
Yeah, I do think the goal and the missions really aligns with the work of the HRC. So I think this is a natural partnership, and looking forward to working together.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I also just wanted to add as well, because as Christy mentioned, they've been active now for a year, and I thought maybe we could share some of the wins, because we did go over that. So a couple that come to mind, so you better understand the kind of work that they're doing, is they've been able to successfully add and fix some of the accessibility parking spaces in town by bringing that to the attention of DPW. They were, both of these committees, because I'm staff liaison to both, helped me with the creation of the incident report form and really looking at the existing report forms to figure out where we're directing traffic of people, like when they come onto the webpage, in terms of, do they go here to talk about a physical obstruction on the sidewalk? Do they go here to talk about some kind of other discrimination based on their accessibility? They also JD did an informal audit of the library, where he got around in his motorized chair and offered them feedback, and gave a great presentation on that, to start that collaboration, as the library has come into some grant funding for specifically access. And they've also been a great kind of baseline for me to come back to, especially as I begin to implement language access in our community in terms of asking for feedback or a sounding board. So those are some of the things. I know, Christy, we had gone through the whole list, but if there's any others that you wanted to add.
Yeah, one of my goals is actually to get a number of our commission members trained to determine or to assess accessibility around town and the physicality of buildings. There's a specific community access manager training that the state does, the Massachusetts Office on Disability. And so we're just trying to figure out what the logistics are for that, so that we have people within Danvers who can then go and check to see if a particular location is accessible. And yeah, so lots of stuff going on. Primarily, though, here to support the work that other committees and commissions do anytime that they align with accessibility issues.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Any other? Yes?
I just want to say, from the library perspective, the Accessibility Committee has been so helpful. They put us in touch with the ARC, and the outreach person has been so amazing. She brought us a box of sensory toys and other things that we can use in our programming, so that has been really helpful. So I just want to say thank you for that. They have been amazing with the library and putting us in touch with people that we need. So we're very grateful for that, and I know it's something that we will continue to do as well.
Happy to
So,
help.
yeah.
And
Thank you.
we always welcome people to come join us at our meetings too. So
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much.
thank you so
Chrissy.
much for
Thank
having
you.
me. Yeah,
Feel free to stay, but if you have
I will
to
stay as
excuse
long as I
yourself,
can until my kids
that's
start
okay.
texting.
Thank you. I will now move on to the next item of the agenda, which is liaison updates. We'll start by the school. Mr. Gabe Lowe's. It's
Yeah, we can hear you.
Is your green light on? Yeah, it's working now.
It's been a very busy few weeks over at the school committee. Just this past weekend, we presented the school budget in this room. It was accepted and it will be moved on to FinCom for review. Just to give you folks a little, give the details of what we're proposing. The proposed The next gen students are planning similar game session, like the ones they did at the library for the Danvers middle school students. So we expect our student representatives to share more with that. Just tonight, the MLK banner that the Danvers High School art students finished should be on display. This is the banner that they started at the MLK event, and now that it's complete, they hope to display that at various town buildings. So that's a pretty good update there as well. That's it for me. Take any questions and answer any you can.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Yes, Paul?
I thoroughly enjoyed Saturdays, the whole day, quite frankly. It was my first look at the budget. I was impressed with the total presentation. It was extremely well thought out. Obviously, cost may face some eyebrows. I don't think there was much in the room that led me to believe that it would be. We'll see. I mean, we got to go through this whole thing. I'm going to get another look at it on FinCom, but I just thought the presentation was well thought out. Questions that were asked were clearly answered. But the superintendent and the school committee did an outstanding job working together to explain everything. No secrets in this thing. There, and I just couldn't say enough about the presentation. I've been listening to presentations for a number of years. And, watched some of it on television, and I thought, going back to the presentations and the workshops on DCAT, the population, the town population, is a very good, had a very good, and still has an opportunity to look over this budget with a fine tooth comb. So there's really, I don't see any reason why anyone should say, well, I don't know what's in it. It's there. There, you can just see it, and it's not hard reading. All you need is a ruler, and you just go right down item by item. So I want to commend the school committee and the superintendent for an outstanding presentation. We'll see where we go from here. As you know, you're never there until you're there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you know where that banner is going to first be displayed?
I don't. I believe it's at Danvers High School now, but Jasmine circled back to you about.
Yeah, I can say it's currently in my possession. It is gorgeous. It is. I think probably because we were kind of like fighting over who would get to show it first, so that's why it's not already posted in the high schools. But yes, and if anyone does want to peek, Mary sent me an image of it, a digital image of it. So even though it's rolled up in my office right now, I also made it my desktop background. So if anyone wants to sneak a peek at it at the end, I can also show you. But it's gorgeous.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Charlie.
So,
Mike Charlie.
sorry. This is a question that I wish that I had asked you beforehand, because you may not have an answer to it, and if you don't, that's perfectly understandable, because sometimes if you don't research done ahead of time, you're not into the weeds on some of the details. But today at the State House, I was at a meeting with the early college initiative that's presently running in the Commonwealth, and I was just wondering, do we have any early college activities going on at Danvers High School? Yeah, we have a collaboration with North Shore Community College, and several of our high school students are taking college credit courses there, and we're actually looking to expand that program as well. It's an incredible advantage for, leaving the high school building early or going into night classes and offsetting, potential costs, depending on the university. So we do. I don't know if that is something that's an addition to that program or separate from it, but I do know we have several of our students at North Shore Community College getting college credits. Great. That's really good. Yeah, the president of Salem State was also there today, who presented a growing program in Salem and Lynn. And so since students can accumulate credit before graduating from high school at no cost, I think it's just something that we want to make sure that our students in Danvers are aware of it, and they can take advantage of it. So great, thank you very much for letting me know. No problem.
And I know they've also, it sounds fair, that they've also expanded the AP programs at the high school. I know at least of one student who graduated and was able to transfer some of his AP classes and finish his bachelor's in 3 years and end up doing a master's and bachelor's at the same time in 4 years because of the credit that he did from DHS and the AP courses. Well, I'll be with you, Mr. Bassi. Any other committee member? Yes?
I don't know if you have any more information on the summer programming for the EA students?
It's in development right now.
Okay.
We haven't updated it.
Okay, thank you.
And it's gonna take some volunteer, donations and things like that before.
Yes, Mr. Bradstein. Yes, please, to the microphone.
Bill Bradstreet. Jasmine, I'll put you on the spot. You have the banner in your possession. Why isn't it prominently displayed in front for everyone to see, and then you can move it where it needs to go? But show everybody what it is, please.
Yes, well, that's going to happen. It's because the chair had not taken a look at it yet. So
All right.
once he takes a look at it and give the approval, then we'll be able to display.
And to be fair,
So-
it arrived like yesterday.
Yes.
I haven't been sitting on it for too long.
That was her intent, but we had to make sure it's, yes, thank you.
And we took measurements to make sure it would fit there.
Exactly. Any other questions, comments about this?
I did just have one comment I wanted to elevate because I can't remember in our own timeline since, but in our February, regarding Next Gen, so we had decided to, in lieu of our February meeting, lend support to the Next Gen program. And I just wanted to share what an incredible experience it was, especially in case any of you missed it. Catch the next one. We had the pleasure of supporting them as these young people demoed games designed to really foster what became intergenerational conversations about race in the library Gordon room. And these games were reimaginings of traditional board games that some of you might even be familiar with, Chutes and Ladders and Parcheesi. And they were designed by and facilitated by students from this Next Gen group. I want to make sure I note that it was just deeply impactful and engaging. The only way you could progress in the games was by engaging in these difficult conversations, and it was incredibly well thought out. We also had the opportunity to hear from some of the upperclassmen in the Next Gen group, where they shared what they hoped their legacy would be in Danvers, and again, just really riveting and impactful things to hear young people saying, you know, this focus on ensuring that the students coming up after them have an easier or a better or a more supportive experience, or feeling even more like they belong, or seeing that their identities are reflected more in the offerings in the schools, was just incredible, and they're very well on their way. And I don't think that we give enough credit and kudos to Janelle Ridley for creating that space where this is possible, where these young minds are able to come together and feel and be safe and be brave in not only designing these things, but then bringing it to the greater community to bring us along in their educational journey. So I really wanted to elevate that because I am still thinking about it and raving about it whenever I can.
Thank you.
Just add to that. You said race, but it,
You want to just speak?
Not really.
if I can just add to it,
Yes.
because I think you said something about race, but it encompassed so much more. In the game that I had, it also encompassed bullying, peer pressure, so many other issues, sexual identity issues. It just covered the gamut. And so it was really, especially the peer pressure stuff, you know it, but to hear the kids discussing it and what they're putting up with and dealing with, it just was eye-opening. It was really wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you.
One of the students at that was Isaiah, who was on our committee last year.
Okay.
As an alum.
Yeah, I was there, and I wanted to just say that I felt that there was something extremely important that happened at that event at the library. And it's fascinating that it happened with students, with young people. And the point that I want to make is that there is a space that you can enter after you go beyond the difficult conversation that's what the students, I thought, kind of illustrated, that while they had difficult conversations, that they had to engage with each other in the course of their work, but once they were able to get beyond the difficult conversations, they moved into a different whole space that was dealing with the humanity of who they were as a diverse group of students from different walks of life, different religions, different cultures, different ethnic backgrounds. And I just felt, and it came through in the legacy statements that they made, which is what do we leave in this institution, the high school, after they graduate from the high school. And I just thought that that was profoundly important. And I think it's a great testament to the hard work that's taking place in Danvers to help students learn how to engage with each other and to grow together as human beings, which was very important.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? Perfect. Thank you. Mr. Voigt, any update from the?
So yeah, I'm glad to report that the Danvers Integrated Partnership continues to meet regularly. What our main focus has been recently is including a lot of the new clergy that are in the area to have them included in our meetings and to build relationships and have conversations about what the churches in the area are facing and how the churches can be present to the community and what the community has been facing, obviously with a lot of shifts and changes that are happening within society. Within our meetings, Jasmine has been present and has been a stakeholder and very, very supportive, which we appreciate, as well as Chief Jamie has been there as well on occasion. There's been some subgroup sort of meetings too, which Jasmine and Dee has been present to. And so there's been this layered sort of effect. And so it's been very, very helpful. Pastor Pam from Maple Street continues to be present at the weekly family emergency meetings as well. And so that sort of information as to what that community needs has been communicated back to the larger clergy group so that that information is helpful as to what's upcoming, their needs around clothing as well as diaper drives and the ongoing needs of food being communicated to the Salem food donations for the food bank. So we just continue to kind of move in those directions and include others that are newer to our community. Something that's upcoming, that's a community event that we want to draw the community in, is there's an artist series that's going to be happening at Maple Street Church. And John Flynn is a folk artist who's going to be at Maple Street Church on April 6th and 7th. He's going to be a folk artist in residence, so there's going to be a concert at Maple Street. We're also going to have a storyteller, and there's a community meal that's going to be happening over the course of that day. I have a flyer here that can communicate a lot of the details. His theme song for the weekend is entitled Only One. So the theme is that all it takes is one person to stand up and to make an impact in the world. And so that's the theme. It kind of fits in with the mantra or our mission as Human Rights and Inclusion Committee, as well as kind of our theme of what it is that we do when we move about the world. And so that's why I wanted to lift that up tonight. John Flynn's work, just to give a little bit of an idea, his work follows in the footsteps of Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger, Chris Christopherson, and other social justice troubadours, as he seeks to speak truth and gives voice to society's disenfranchised. He serves on the advisory board of Camp Dreamcatcher, which is a therapeutic summer camp for children whose lives have been impacted by HIV and AIDS, where he maintains a long tradition of fundraising and annual concerts for the children. John founded and currently serves as executive director to New Beginnings, a nonprofit dedicated to helping incarcerated and returning citizens successfully to transition back to freedom. And his songs of advocacy and equal justice and peace fill hearts and opens eyes. And so that's the theme of his folk work as well as his life's work. And so he's coming to Maple Street Church. And that ties into art exhibits that we'll be having also, which will be featuring Family Promise and Common Art through Common Cathedral in Boston, Housing
Any thoughts, any questions at all?
Perfect, thank you. You said, was it April 6th?
April 6th and 7th.
What time?
On the flyer, there's a list of the events and the times that they're going to transpire over the weekend. So the storytelling will be at about 1 p.m. on Saturday. The concert, so it's family friendly, will be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There's a community supper in our social hall that's at 5:30 in the evening. And then the art installation will be on Sunday from 12 noon till 6. So everything is geared so families can come and enjoy and be part of going on. And then John Flynn will be part of worship as well on Sunday for those that want to come be involved. And then there's fellowship time Sunday at 11 o'clock. So there's this kind of transpiring over the weekend. So for those who want to come and be involved for all of or be part of, there's a chance to be part of something I think that's going to be really kind of mesmerizing and engaging.
Okay, do you have a digital form of that you
I
can
do.
send?
I can send that to you.
Okay, please, and Jasmine can send that to the group. Perfect. Any questions, comments? You know?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lieutenant Rob.
Mr. Chairman, just 2 items for this moment. Talk about police training. It's a continued program. We participated all year long. A couple weeks ago, all department members completed our annual legal update segment. It's a 7-hour block of education. And much like almost all segments of police training nowadays, and we work with them to include not just legal updates, case law and statutes, but they included in the legal updates segments that include fines, pre-policing, and de-escalation. So they're working those subjects into looking at what the new laws include about those areas, but also what cases have been developed, how they work out well or how they go so well. So the officers can learn from those experiences. Interestingly, for a law class, there were even segments about that included police perceptions and ideas, conscious and unconscious bias, but also something we don't look at very often, the public's perception, people we interact with, their thoughts interact with their bias or unconscious bias, how we're all interacting with each other, and based upon the type of engagement we're in, best outcomes for the police and for the public. So it's kind of a different way of having a legal update and training person. And I also wanted to mention, it's not police reporting, but one of my colleagues was talking about an experience he had in Boston the other day. I don't know if we talked about it here, but there's an exhibit going on right now about Auschwitz. The title is Auschwitz, Not Long Ago, Not Far Away. It's at Castle at Park Plaza. Started in March, I think it runs to the end of August. It's not free, it's a ticket-based system, but he said, I think you're limited to 2 or 2.5 hours, and I think 3 hours at asked. They had overstayed their stay, but he said you could use a longer period, not staying.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Here none? Perfect. Jasmine, DEI report out.
This is a little lengthier because we have 2 months worth of things, but I first just wanted to say Happy Women's History Month. We still got a few more days. So shout out to all of the women that keep our town running and so on. I also just wanted to acknowledge that we are in the middle of the season of Ramadan, and for those who don't know, this is a Muslim holy time for community and reflection and fasting, so we still have about 2 more weeks of that. I had the pleasure of being invited to iftar from a student, which is like one of the opening ceremonies for Ramadan, and it really pushed me to think about, as someone raised in Christianity, when you hear fasting, some of us might have a reaction to that, but the way that it was described by the imam was beautiful in that it's an opportunity to reset, and this idea of the process of fasting really slowing down our bodies because of the biological need really gives you time to break away from the multitasking and to focus on one thing at a time and really embrace that. And I wanted to share that because I think that's beautiful, and I'm like, I could use some of that slowing down right about now. But just to say that, also to acknowledge that we are working on our partnerships with Mohammed Hayek for the American Muslim Society here in our community, and I think it's important to continue to name that they're here. They've been here since before the pandemic, and we do have Muslim members of our community, so just keeping that in our minds, because I know that's not an intersection or a group that comes up often in our conversations, but again, speaking to the beauty of the diversity in our community. For those who are taking dates, get your pencils ready. A week from today, Thursday, March 28th, at the Universalist Unitarian Church from 6 to 8 p.m. is the Trans Day of Visibility event put on by the high school students of PRISM. I'll be encouraging people immediately following the Accessibility Commission meeting to head over there. This is an annual event put on by the students for the students and the larger community, so I encourage us to lend support. Additionally, if you recall our partnership with Heathmere, they are reproducing their Seeing and Living as White series that they did for us in Beverly. There are 2 dates that they have that conflict, one being tonight with our human rights meeting, but there is one that on April 11th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And this is in the Beverly Public Library. So if you missed the series here and wanted to go support our neighbors and support Lauren, who's been a fantastic partner to us, that is happening. I also have been engaging in conversations about civic engagement with our assistant town clerk, and just the importance of even just putting the information out there. So I wanted to make sure people know that we have our annual town election coming up May 7th. On a Tuesday in the field house of the high school. And there are options to vote by mail and in-person early voting. All of that information is on the webpage. If you run into any issues with accessibility or anything like that, let me know, or you can also talk to Steph Yaris. Additionally, we do have our date set for Juneteenth. So this year we will be celebrating again by bringing back the North Shore Juneteenth Association to run a beautiful program for us. And that will be Monday, June 17th from 1 to 3 in front of Danvers Town Hall. And if you recall, last year there was the Black National Anthem was sung. There was a keynote speaker. There was a poetry piece. There was an acknowledgement of the Juneteenth flag. With some snacks, and so it'll likely be a combination of that this year. Next piece I have, again, so we are doing the race amity.
Hold on, before you move on. For the Juneteenth, we don't have a time yet, right? We just have
1
a
to
date.
3 p.m.
Okay, one.
Was it was 2 hours last year? 1 hour.
I have to look. But we think 1 to 3 on the 17th.
The Monday.
Okay. Any questions about that? We good? Monday? Perfect. Thank you.
We also we're bringing back the Race Amity Multicultural Festival. And so currently I have Donna, Jorge, and Bill from the committee working with me. We are also working with Ann DeStacio, the DHS librarian, Lauren from Heathmere, and then Jenny, the teen librarian from our public library. That will be July 13th, a Saturday, also from 1 to 3. We are currently deciding on accessible locations, so I will update you when I have that. One thing I do want to elevate is, if you recall last year, we got to feature a cross-racial friendship, and that was a big component of the event itself. We had Dr. Desmond and Dave McKenna. And we are looking for a new friendship pair to highlight. So if you do know anyone, that was one of the pieces where we got a little stuck. If you know a long-standing cross-racial friendship, preferably from people who are from the town of Danvers, let us know and pass along some names. Keeping in mind, when we talk about cross-racial, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be white and Asian. It could be Asian and black. It could be whatever combination, as long as they're just not the same. Donna, Jorge, Bill, is there anything you'd like to add or that I forgot? Courtney, where'd you go? No, did I get it all? Okay, and then Christy brought up our accessibility public forums coming up. Also, we're still looking for panelists for that as well. And then the last bit is just a reminder to everyone.
Hold on. What do you mean you're looking for panelists?
So for the public forums, the format is going to be immediately following our regular business, as Christy mentioned. We're going to have a pre-established panel of around 3 participants from the community to share their experiences. And then it will open up so that anyone in the audience who feels empowered to can come up and speak and share their experiences. So the purpose of these forums is baseline to begin to listen to the voices in our community that have not been heard thus far, and then see what we can do behind the scenes in collaboration moving forward.
Okay. So are the panelists like just Danvers residents who have accessibility,
Do you want it?
or students or parents of students?
So we're looking for additional people with disability experiences, preferably their own. So for the disability in the schools, current or former students, we do have a couple who are interested. Some who say that they'll make a decision the day of, which is hard. That's my kid. But also, we do have some parents. But I'm looking. We're hoping to have a breadth and a variety of experiences, so that it's not just a single story about the disability experience. So specifically for the event about disability in town, we're looking for, we have some people with physical disabilities, some with invisible disabilities, but we're looking for additional experiences. So if anybody's willing and interested in participating, we'd love to have them.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Go ahead.
And the last piece is just, again, Christy mentioned reappointment. We're also coming into our reappointment season, and keep in mind that we have yet to fill Kristen's position, and I believe there are 3 people up for reappointment. And a reminder that you all have access to the HRIC info packet that outlines briefly what our reappointment process is, so just to keep that in mind as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions, comments? You know? Okay, next one. Did the Mass Human Rights Commission meet?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Shilpa.
All right, just a few things to report out. One is the Black Massachusetts Reparations Collective is inviting interested individuals to save the date for their upcoming event on April 10th. That's from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The Massachusetts Statewide Reparations Convening. These convenings have become a space to advance a multiracial strategy for reparations in Massachusetts, and it offers a foundational understanding around the need for local repair, statewide updates from advocates on the ground, as well as the resources for attendees to get engaged in the movement. And right now, there's no link for the event, but you can contact the collective at blackmc.org, and I can send that out to everybody in an email. The other was the Human Rights Cities Alliance's webinar that they did in February. It's called Strategies for Advancing Human Rights and Racial Justice in Cities and Communities. And there's a recording available, which I can also send. And they did one in March as well that says, that's called Using United Nations Tools to Challenge U.S. Racism, commemorating the International Day to End Racism. And the link to that webinar is not yet available, and when it is, I can send that out as well. And the last thing was, there was a report out from Melrose. In its city council meeting on March 11th, Melrose passed a ceasefire resolution that was introduced by former Melrose HRC vice chair, who is now the at-large city councilor, and was a presenter at the 2018 MEHRC convening, Maya Jamaluddin. And the resolution, with this resolution, Melrose joined Somerville, Cambridge, Medford, Northampton, and Amherst. And I just wanted to highlight one more thing, which is not from the MAHRC, but the North Shore NAACP does regular book clubs, and it's something that everyone is invited to. And I thought that's something that we can participate as well. The next one is on April 23rd. It's at 7 p.m. It's a hybrid event that's happening in person and it's virtual as well. It's happening at the Marblehead Museum. The book is called How the Word is Passed, A Reckoning with the History of Slavery Across America by Clint Smith. And you can get your copy of the book at Susie's Stories bookstore in Rockport. It's a great way to support a Black-owned business, and this is the only Black-owned business, bookstore on the North Shore. And they're really awesome. Doug and Susie are amazing. They're at Bearskin Neck, so if you would like to participate or just go to the bookstore even, it's a lovely place to be. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Clint Smith.
Thank you so much. Next one is Black History Month event update. Johan was unable to be here. She had a family situation that prevented her from attending. Where we had our event in February, for those of you who attended, I think it was a great event. I'll let other people speak about it, the people that were there. I had a good time. The food was amazing. The DJ, dancing. The kids. Karen, what did you think?
I felt that not only was sort of Danvers' past represented in the room, but Danvers' future was represented in the room. And there was just an energy, and it just made me so happy to now be calling Danvers my home. And it was great to see familiar faces that I normally see at such gatherings, but also to be able to invite some friends who were thrilled and were like, when's this happening again? And just to, meet new friends and old. So it was really great. And I loved, I think Shilpa was involved with, I'll just say on the center of the tables, were these amazing bios that each had a QR code that spoke about really legacy makers past and present. And I loved that I think the balance of them, most of them, were folks who are living here on the North Shore today and making the North Shore what it is becoming. And it was just so fascinating. And then I found out the woman sitting next to me was one of these legacy makers. And I was like, I'm sitting next to a VIP. And it was really fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, what Karen's talking about is we did something called Looking Back, Looking Forward. So highlighting Black history on the North Shore, as well as people currently continuing to make a difference, and that's what we wanted to do. But I think one word that encapsulates that day was joy. It was just so wonderful. It was great to see people from our community come out to the party. It was great to see those kids having so much fun. I think that's the future right there. Just the dancing and the music and the food and meeting people that you've never met before in your community, and just a safe space for people to come. It was just wonderful.
Thank you. I second that. Will you be doing it again? Hopefully next year. Definitely. Comment? Perfect. Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention two pieces. One was that I really thought it was impactful. We had a reverend pastor come and do a call-in response where he was able to speak of these leaders. I don't even know, it was emotional. He was able to speak to a future that we want. He was able to honor the legacy of people who have passed and done the work of racial equity before, and just being in the room to read off of the paper together in unity was very powerful. and just like a beautiful, what is it? Was it a benediction? Is that what it would be called?
It's a call and response.
It's a
It is
call and
just a
response,
response.
yeah.
Let me not try to use terms I don't know. So that element was beautiful, and also the community element for me transcended. It wasn't just Danvers people that I saw, though it was incredible to see Black Danvers residents step up and say that we want this, we want to do this with this committee, and we're going to get it done. But I also saw just colleagues of mine, Black, like all three Black colleagues of mine, they all attended, and they were like, this can happen in Danvers, like this is what it looks like in comparison to their town hall experiences, and that was really impactful. One of the public school teachers I spoke to, he was like, these are all people from here, and I was like, the majority of them, yes. And there were neighbors from neighboring municipalities. So imagine now you have people of color, but even white people now coming to Danvers for a cultural experience, and I really want us to take that in and receive that. And I'm excited to continue that energy with Celebración in the fall, and then get us ready for Black Excellence again in the spring. But I really want you all to take that in, because all of your contributions, whether you planned it or showed up or told someone about it, led to that joy that was just really heartwarming.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, and I also give a shout out to Boston Bridge and Kiwanis for the funding. I mean, to put some events like this together, it takes some fundings, and they were very generous with their donations. Boston Bridges, yes, and Kiwanis. They were very supportive and were able to fund this event for us. Could you do me a favor and just go to the mic and introduce yourself, please? I'm sorry.
So our online viewers can hear.
Hi, I'm Maggie Connors. I just think it's wonderful that that has happened. I'm sad that I missed it, but it is so inspirational and impactful and so necessary in so many communities. And I've been around the United States, and I've not heard or seen anything like that in Danvers. I've been in Danvers for about 9 years, and I would love to see it grow and be a part of as well.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it was really good. As a matter of fact, the pastor, he used to be on the Human Rights Commission in Melrose, and he actually told us this is something they will try to do in Melrose now. So I think we're becoming like a model in the North Shore. So still a lot of work to do, but yes, Paul.
Many people turned out, and they trickled in. It seemed like everybody was anxious to be there. I don't dance, but I need to. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was just great seeing the community out. Tremendous. And we should really, I think we're going to do it.
Definitely. And another shout out to Delight Gourmet, who send us a server. I think they are in Middleton or something. They send us the tip certified server so we can have our wine legally. And another shout out to Sahel Restaurant and the people who provided us with the food. It was really delicious. So thank you. School committee, scholarship subcommittee. So we'll be doing scholarships again this year for the high school. So we'll probably be getting the applications in the next few weeks. So I just need a few volunteers who can review those applications. Donna, Bill, Shilpa, and Karen. Perfect. So you got that down? So I have Donna, Bill, Shilpa, and Karen. So once the applications come, I will have Jasmine communicate with you as to how you can either have hard copy or electronic copies. Usually, it's easier to just get it electronically now. they'll send you a folder with all the applications. Perfect. The next one is the Pride event. We are approaching June. Where are we, Jashmine?
Where are we, committee? So I only have confirmed Jillian, I never get her title, the full language, outreach coordinator of the library is going to be on our planning team. I also confirmed that the 3 community members from last year's planning, they were, I don't think any of them were Danvers residents, but our friendly neighbors are going to be joining us. However, I did not hear from any committee members. So I'll be on the committee.
So we have Shilpa that's raising the hand, Paul, Donna, Pastor Doc, and Lieutenant Rob. So we need to probably get that started so that we can have an update by our next meeting. Because we only have April and May, and then we're in June.
Not me, I went on last year, and I was amazed at all the work that had been done prior. And I think maybe Kristen was on it.
She was.
Those that have been on it before, I believe we should have someone that is a chair of that subcommittee. That's correct. And
I agree.
veterans, people that know really what's going on, the ins and outs. So I'm just making a suggestion that someone responds, calling the meeting. And I recommend you.
No, it cannot be Jashmine. It's got to be somebody else.
Who did you say was going to be on the committee?
We have
So-
Shilpa, Paul, Donna, you, Rob.
And Karen.
And Karen.
Oh, I missed.
No,
You
No.
didn't say no.
Oh, no.
I'm on the scholarship.
She says scholarship. Okay.
Oh, but not.
Okay. Perfect.
So, of them coming back, I think you're all coming back. Or Donna, were you in the Pride
I've done it
committee last year?
years previous. Last year, there were family issues.
Coming back from last year is Douglas, Rob, Shilpa.
And Paul, yes.
Oh, Paul. Interesting.
Paul, you did such
Perfect.
a great job last year.
MLK, I mean, you ran those numbers. So who do you want to identify as the chair then?
Well, they can decide that themselves.
I'll be the
So we have Sharpa chair the subcommittee. Yes.
It was great.
That means you have to do everything.
Yes. Perfect. I think that's it. Any new business? That something, comments, anything that we have not discussed?
Oh, when is the Pride event?
That's what the committee's for.
Oh, okay.
Can't plan it without the chair. June.
I mean, if history is any guide, we usually do it the first week of June.
Yeah.
The first, preferably Thursday, because people have long day here at Town Hall, so it's easier to do it while people are here.
Well, the flag raising is the first Thursday. And so last year we did the Pride event the same day as the flag raising.
Yes.
And so we've got to discuss whether we're going to do it that same way, or if we're going to have the flag raising and the Pride event separate, like we had done the year previous.
I can confirm from a capacity standpoint that it makes more sense for these to be in one day, and the committee can decide. We'll go back into looking at the data from our debrief of last year, which I should have record of, and we'll go back and forth around if we want to keep it a weekday or move it to the weekend. But I don't recommend splitting it up.
Yeah, we can the subcommittee can discuss
subcommittee
if it's
can
better.
Still all the secrets.
Pastor Douglas is, he wasn't just his liaison. He's also done, he knows me as same day, right? It was the
Yeah.
same day, as flag raising, we went a little bit earlier with the flag raising, and then had the event, on the lawn of the library, and it really worked out very nicely, instead of doing two separate events. So I think that's what we're all kind of leaning towards, potentially doing again, if everybody's in favor of that. Because June is just so busy.
Yeah.
Trying to separate it and juggle all the other events, graduation, et cetera, and all that kind of stuff is too much.
Yeah, it's definitely, we will do it in one day. Should it be Saturday the 1st or Thursday the 5th?
The flag raising traditionally is that first Thursday, so I don't know if we move the flag raising, because that ends up traditionally being while the town hall is open.
Again, we can committee to that.
Yeah.
Like, don't show them all.
I have a preference for that first Thursday because town hall is already open and it doesn't require a lot of extra logistics, and the library will be open until 9. Whereas on Saturday we have to bring DPW out, and so so I would prefer that we do it on a Thursday. But again, the subcommittee can look and yeah. Any other new business?
I did just have one new business item. I wanted to just elevate a resource that recently was put on my radar. The North Shore Alliance for Economic Development created a North Shore Small Business Diversity Directory. And this is just a place where they're cataloging via the honor system different businesses around Massachusetts, or around the North Shore, I should say, that are minority owned. So whether it be women or immigrant or like race categories. I just wanted to put that on our radar because I know, especially when we're talking about event planning, sometimes when we're trying to be intentional about diversifying our vendors and things like that, this is a great opportunity. So I'll probably bring that up, for example, with Pride, to see some of the LGBT-owned businesses in the area, to bring them in and so on. But again, it's just a resource that I came into this week. And the Danvers list only has 3. However, and one is Unpacked Living, which unfortunately has since relocated. So this is a living, breathing document that we're trying to also raise awareness to, because it's much easier than going through the formal processes and all of the bureaucratic paperwork of getting it done. Again, this is honor system, so if you're aware of businesses and you don't find them on this directory, it's also something you can bring to them to say, hey, here's another space for some visibility.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other new business? Wow, I think this will be our shortest meeting of the year. If none, I will ask a motion.
Second.
Wow. Okay, second, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good night, Danvers. Thank you very much.